Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome. I've missed you, I've missed you, I've missed you. Okay, this is from last week, okay? But I was going to have them put it on the wall, but then Kenny said no. He said, you've got to read that. So I'd like to begin right now. I've been having wonderful dreams lately. Don't explain why. Maybe it's because my brain is so empty right now. But they're technicolor dreams. And there was a dream, and I'm going to tell you now. This dream happened last night, but that was a week ago. But it was so special that I need to write it down while it is still so vivid in my memory. It was probably created through the call from my son shortly before I fell asleep, and it affected me deeply and fills me with joy as I write about it to you. We have a ritual now that I live away from other people during the pandemic, when my son calls me every night and we discuss what our inner mentor asks us to do. I mentioned how alone I felt with no family member near me, and said that my inner mentor told me to deal with it. There is no choice, because I have COVID-19 now, as did my son and my daughter as well. I don't have COVID anymore. I'm free. But I can never forget the loneliness that I felt. And so I slept, and I dreamed that a long path opened before me, and I looked at it and wondered what I missed the most and what I wanted to have again. And there was the teenaged me in Panama. I promise you, I was there. I was there. And it played before me. I didn't see it. I felt being it. And there was the teenaged me on a bicycle, just riding. This was in Panama, where the sun always shone, and my bicycle was always a part of every day. There were the trips with friends, and the sun shining, and the swimming and the picnics, and the endless days. Would I want this again? Of course not. There were so many other things waiting. Which will I pick? And there was Eric waiting, and my children, and if I could only be with my parents again, and my wonderful brother Richie, my teachers, Chicago Art School, sketching street scenes, painting, endless memories saying, pick me first. No, come here, let me keep you here. And always there was me wanting to repeat what I once had so that I could relive it again today. And there I was completely real with the open-armed invitation. I knew if I let myself go back in there, I could. And they were all screaming, no, me first. Remember and join me now. It was so exciting, and yet I paused. But where am I now? I had this once. Did I value it enough? Did I really live it fully? Am I back there willingly to choose my future for the rest of my life? And I faced reality. Hedy, you're 92.5 years old, and you can accept its limits with grace and say thank you to what you once had. And in the morning I woke with my no longer agile body. I got it up, got on my stationary bike, not on my bicycle to ride to the beach, turned on the news and began a new day. And the sun was shining, and the dream of choosing was only a dream. But it was a wonderful gift to bring me back to reality. and I wanted to share it with the people I love. I couldn't go back. But somehow or other, nature allowed me to have a dream in which I was there. I felt the sunshine, and that was when it was snowing. I felt the sunshine, and I thought, but could I ever pick and go back? I had it once. If I didn't feel it and know it, then I never had it. I better begin right now to own what I have. And that was my dream. Okay, now let me be serious about life. I'm going to be doing painting number 57, where I failed so much because I didn't ask questions. Let me read to you what I wrote, because it was when Kenny and Eileen and Paula went with me to the Lower East Side to take photos and capture what I once had done. And I realized I had it, and it's all gone. Maybe it was my destiny to create memories. And because of that, let me tell you about painting number 57.
Should I get the iPad so I can show it?
No, you don't need to. I have everything here. This is the painting. And it is of a street that I must tell you about. Listen to what I wrote. Painting number 57. Essex Street, Hester Street, Grant Streets, in 1984. That was 40 years ago. Think of it. Mariah Gallery, oil on canvas, 24 inches by 38 inches. I really failed by not writing the story during my painting time, because years later, when I began to write about this one, all the names and phone numbers I had listed were no longer valid, and all I have are memories. So let me go back in time and tell them to you. I love to hear the owner, Peter Arenthal, talk about books. He loved them and handled them with such tenderness. The neighbors were so eager to tell me about the businesses as well as the difficulties in beginning them and the difficulties of making a living at this time. Peter is in this painting, as is my Professor Wolf, who was my main resource on the Lower East Side world. Leonard Schneier, who lived in back of his shop, and Emmanuel Weitzberg, importer of antique Judaica. I wish I could go back in time and relive our wonderful conversations. I can't, but I loved how he loved books. He's in there, in the painting.
Do you want to say where he is so I can...
Yes, I could. I'll point him out to you right here. But I have to put my glasses on. In those days, I didn't need glasses the way I do. Okay. There he is, and there is Professor Wolf with him. Professor Wolf is right over here.
Okay.
Right? And Arenthal is right next to him.
Ah, okay. So Professor Wolf is the second from the left.
Yes. And he
And
gave...
Arenthal is the one all the way on the
I
left.
heard him speaking at the museum, and the Jewish Museum, I think. I'm not sure. All I know is he made me go to the synagogues and paint as many as I could, because I love people who love things, not people who look at things and memorize them, but people who feel them. And they both do. And I have to tell you how I began to look somehow to find out the people. So I found out that they once had a gallery called Mariah Artcraft Incorporated at 699 Madison Avenue in Manhattan, between 62nd and 63rd. And there's no place left like that anymore. It's all gone. Leonard Shire, who lived in the back of the shop, all these people, I can never find them again. And I lost them 40 years ago. If I could live my life over again, I would write every word down. And so I have their phone numbers here. They don't exist anymore. So let me instead show you the memories. First of all, here's how I begin work. This is the street. And thank you, Kenny, for having a camera. This is the street. This is how I began.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And then I have another one to show you. I'm so glad that I kept folders. You see, when I was living with Joni for a while, and then I came back here, I couldn't find the folders. And so I spoke. But now I have every folder, and they're packed with goodies. Here is another goodie when you want it. Another sketch.
This is your first sketch. These are your first sketches of the painting.
Right, and here's another one. And I found out that there was a Michael Ehrenthal in Forest Hills, New York. But I couldn't reach him, even though I had a phone number. And I found out there was a Westport auction with Kate and Travis Wohler, that somehow Mariah ended up there. And then I got information on Mariah Artcraft, www.mariahgalleries.com, at 230 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York. And then I got another information, Mogallo, Verizon.net. All of these, but I couldn't find Mariah again. So I just want to tell you, whatever you think is important today, please write it down. Write it down. It may not work, but don't waste your time. Do it. Now let me start giving you the photographs that I have. First of all, I want to show you the cards from one of them. But first, the photographs of the finished painting. Because the street was wonderful. It had these old buildings. It had the New York of the Lower East Side. That doesn't exist anymore. I want to talk about other things also, but I've got to use this. And here is my Professor Wolf, who was always there when I needed him, with all the knowledge I didn't have. Professor Wolf, I don't know if you're still around, but I would love to talk to you and find out how today you see the world. And here are people in the stores.
Mom, I'm just going to show an earlier version of your painting.
Sure. Show everything because they're precious. And the other things I wanted to talk about, I have next week. I'm not going to push anymore. I'm going to just be grateful. I want to introduce you to my world, which is 40 years ago. And he told stories.
And who is this? This one?
It wasn't Arental.
Oh.
I think it was the guy who sold Judaica. See, again, I didn't write the names in back because I thought I had forever. And this is the world which is gone. Where Spanish and Yiddish were spoken from one door to the other. This is the past you're looking at. 40 years ago.
More.
More, actually more. Rabbi Laser Deutsch. So these folders are so precious. And I didn't have them at the beginning of doing my groups, my Monday nights, because they were not with me. Now I have everything with me. And this is a much better photograph, a clearer one of the finished painting. Much clearer. And this is the notes from Emanuel Weitzberg, the imported antique Judaica. And I love it. I didn't do it. That's his stationery. And because I speak to everybody and love to talk to people, I met a man called Tony Castello from Wahlberg Street. I met during the Essex Street at Mariah. And he said he's a young artist, he works long hours, has family, so he has very little time for artwork. But he works at Junior's Clam House. Because that's the world. And I miss that time of my life when I could go into the car and drive wherever I wanted to and sit down on a sidewalk and draw and paint. And I'm not going to complain because I had it. And if I didn't enjoy it enough, it's my fault. And these are the last of the photos.
Mariah Antique Jewelry.
and then I will talk about something else. Unless you want to read the comments, Kenny.
Sure, absolutely. To fill in, check in while you wait. So the comments say, first people telling that they hear you fine. Fran Rosenberg watching. Hernan.
Hernan.
Greg. Michelle. Michelle says, hello, Hedy. So
Michelle, someday you had planned to come and visit me. My COVID is over, but the snow is all around. You can't park, but give me a call and let's figure something out.
Beautiful. And Michelle says, hello, Hedy. So happy to see your beautiful, smiling face. Love you so much.
Thank you.
And Carol Hodkin is watching, and Michelle says, hey, Kenny and Greg, we send you love, Michelle. And Tammy says, welcome back, Hedy. And Joe says, greetings, everyone. Joe Tripp, so glad you're back, Hedy.
Me too.
And Julie is watching, and Carol Hodkin said, happy you are back live.
I know. I missed all of you so.
And, let's see, yes, I think I mentioned Tammy said, welcome back, Hedy. And many people responded to that and said hello to each other. And Michelle said, thank God you're all well now. And Mary is watching. And then Michelle said, dreams are amazing. I do believe that some are more than just dreams. And Julie says, so good to see your face. Happy birthday, Joni.
Today's Joni's birthday.
Woo!
And I spoke to her in the early morning. And she's amazing. She's amazing. Today's a big day because she's been working so long to get a hotel to be for the people just coming out of prison who have no beds. And today's the celebration. And unfortunately, Kenny, I cannot be there because of COVID. But congratulations.
And Laura Silver is watching, and then Michelle said, happy and healthy birthday, Joni. Fran Rosenberg says, it's amazing that dreams can create a hyper reality.
Yes.
But it is more amazing that you can accept current reality with happiness. And
Fran, I learned so much from you in life. Thank you.
And Laura Silver says, Joni, happy day to you. And Laura Silver says, Hedy, even in failure, you succeed wildly. You preserve this streetscape so changed over the decades. Hugs and kisses. And Kent Almquist said hi from Sweden. And Marilu Bilgrade de Rodriguez is watching. And Michelle is saying hello to Hernan, and Hernan is saying hello to Michelle and sending hearts. And Lauren is watching, Lauren Raff. And Marilu says, my cousin Hedy, how are you feeling? Hugs, lots of hugs offered to you. And Michelle says, beautiful photo at one of your photos. And Julie says, I always love getting glimpses into your archives. Old photos are the best. Precious indeed. Which is why I have countless box full and albums full and will never let them go.
And don't forget, we met because you came with your photographs to our store. That's how the friendship began.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Eric, for being the guy who made the business for us.
And Marilu says wow to one of your pieces. And JT, John Taracuso, hi John, says big hugs from California. So glad to see you today. And Hernan says Christopher sends his love too. And Christopher says we're watching on the big TV. Much love. And Greg says congratulations Joni and happy birthday. And Carol Hodkin says happy birthday to Joni.
How could I have lived so long without you guys? How many weeks was it? 3 or 4?
I think we missed 3.
We missed 3. But we didn't miss today because you were able to come. Oh, okay. I don't know how much time I have, but I do want to bring up another topic. I have 4 minutes. Okay. It'll be continued next week. But let me just tell you something. I have learned something. When I was with Mara, when I was in rehab with Hara, not with Hara, somebody else, with Mara, my therapist, I learned about how there are so many truths and that we only pick the ones we're comfortable with. And some or other we forget the others because they're not comfortable. That, you know the story of the people with the elephant, the blind men with the elephant, that 2 of them were touching the feet and describing an elephant has big shapes like wooden blocks. And another one was feeling the ears, and he said, no, like leaves, floppy and huge. And both were true, but it's only because we're not able to see the whole. And we'll talk about that next time, but what I do also need to say, I keep speaking about the 2 books that I carry in my brain continually now. One is Cosmic Queries, and the other one is about respect by Dr. Joe Strand. I'm adding the 3rd one. The 3rd one is called The Book of Joy, and it was written by the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Tutu. And I will start speaking of them because they love each other, those 2 friends, even though they're totally different. But they have a sense of humor. And when one said to the other, how with all the misery around us, and the fact that we lost our country, or we lived under apartheid, in spite of all this, how do we face the world? And the answer was, what exists, exists, but nobody can give us joy except ourselves. Joy is self-created. And I want to talk about that because in my painting, the only reason I'm working on this painting is it's going to be filled completely. Let me hold it. It's going to be filled completely only with people who give to others. Nobody who takes, but people who give. And everybody has a story. And I will tell every story because everybody has to write the story in order to be in here. And I believe the only reason that we're allowed to keep living, because we do so much damage, is because everybody in here, in my life when I knew them, I've watched them doing good things. And I'm going to spend a lot of time speaking of this. Today, I didn't, but I will. Can I just tell you, there's a man named Ed who has been sending me photographs of the Lower East Side. He's a friend of Eileen and Paula, And so he must have been a friend of my son when he went to New Paltz, because that's how Eileen and Paula know Ed. Whatever it is, this is going to be Ed over here. I have a wonderful photograph of his face, but I don't know what his shoulders look like. I don't know how he holds a camera. And he's going to be coming to me because I don't have COVID anymore. And he's going to be coming and he's going to pose next week, hopefully, if the weather is good. And if not, he's going to give me a story. And I think it's time to go.
Yeah, just a couple more comments. Michelle said that she lost her reception but sends love to all. Stay well. And Joe Tripp said that book is a great book. Our adult book group read it a couple of years ago.
I love you all. Thank you. Good night.